Go lay down. You've had enough. Lay down. Lay down. Okay, sit down. Hey, Mouse. Hey, Rescue. I don't know. I think that's about a tie between you two. Hey, FOP. Hey, Mickey. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that sheath that Backwards does for your knife. I think that's good. I want to see that knife. I think that thing sounds cool. Hey, Smith. Hey, Frank. Was that a good chat tonight or what? I I think it was an awesome chat. And like I said, like FLP said, he went a little deep on a couple subjects, but with some of the subjects, with all the subjects, he went deep on. Deep is good. It, when you go, like you're saying, when you go heart to heart with somebody, you don't gloss over anything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey, Nina. Hey, Frank. Okay, Zeus finally laid down, so because I just had him out like 15 minutes ago. Then, like right before the chat ended, Zeus is like, "I may have to go out again." So I opened up the door, like, "Okay, let's go out." And he just looked at me like, "Nah," and laid down. I was like, "Okay." Hey, Grumpy. Hey, Juanita. I try to give you hugs through the screen, but doesn't quite work. Hey, Brett. Yeah, I'm gonna read. I opened it up, Rescue Boss, but I didn't read it yet. So I'm going. After I'm done, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read through that, and I may have a couple ideas for you. Just I kind of glossed over real quick before the chat started, but I have a couple ideas for you already. I'll email them back to you. But hey, 3D. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, FLP. Yeah, because those things ain't cheap. Ooh, and you know how I like my antique stuff, which is funny. So I have two of my great grandfather's draw knives. The one draw knife is I'm thinking the one draw knife has to be about 125 years old. And I was using one time. My aunt come in, see me using it, and she about lost her mind. She about lost her mind. Because you know it's 125 years old. Says, you know what your grandfather would tell you? She's like, no, what he's always says, it's a good tool. Use it. So, but yeah, but that's why I try to when it comes to antiques. That's why I try to specialize in is antique tools. And believe it or not, they're kind of part of my preps because especially if like the grid goes down, you're still going to have to drill holes. You're still going to have to try to make dimensional lumber somehow. You're going to have to build things. And in order to build things, you're going to have to prep the lumber to do it. So that's one reason why I have the antique tools, along with Mason hammer. Mason hammer comes in good for all kinds of things. Behind you, son. I think when it comes to people, I wouldn't say that we're antique. I'm thinking more like seasoned, seasoned. Exactly, rescue boss. Seasons like cast iron. The better the cast iron seasons, the better it cooks. What my grandfather Blank, you know, he used to call gray hair the experience meter. The more gray hair means more experience you got at things. Well, it didn't say experience, experience. They had to have experience. Good point, Smith and Wesson, and we have most of that stuff here already. Well, some not the. Actually, no. I think we have like a 36-inch pipe wrench, but that used to be used in the that used to be used in the oil field. He just ended up coming home with Dad. So yeah, and see, and stuff like that, like those larger pipe wrenches and stuff. Hey, T Bear, those larger those larger wrenches, especially like the pipe wrenches and stuff. And another one that I have in my toolbox, like a good 18-inch pair of channel locks. You won't believe the uses you have for those things. All kinds of, especially with a tool like a pipe wrench or a pair of channel locks, like a big pair of channel locks. Let your imagination run wild because you can find all kinds of uses for them. In fact, the big pair of channel locks I used to have, when I used to, well, still do, but when I do brakes on my older cars that had just a single piston calipers, that's why I used to put the brake pad back in the caliper, then take the channel locks and use that to push the piston back into the caliper so I can put it back together. I mean, those things when I open them up, it has a set of jaws on them like that, so you can adjust them down. See, that's what I use now. My dart all the way around. Let me see. In the front, it had three piston calipers in the front, two piston calipers in the back. My Jeep has four piston calipers in the front and two piston calipers in the back. So, yeah, the channel locks just ain't going to cut it. The older GM did like my S10. Let me see the S10, my Honda, Saturns. I used to work for Saturn. I used to do. I used to help. I was a parts guy, but when I was slow upstairs, I used to go down and help the mechanics down in the shop. And if they're doing something else on the car and they need like the front brakes done, I do the front brakes for them real quick. But that's what all the guys at Saturn used to use to. Hey, how you doing, backwoods? But that's what we used to do the calipers with was a pair of channel locks because you could just go like that and just squeeze it back in. I mean, you didn't want to McGill the thing, but you could just ease it right back in and you're good to go. Oh, tell me about it. In fact, when I did my dart, I actually used two C clamps. I tighten one up, tighten the other one up, and I do like three turns and three turns and three turns and three turns, and it kind of went down like this. But when both of them bottomed out, I knew I had all the pistons for the caliper in. Oh, same here. That's what I was doing. I put the old pad in. In fact, on the dart, instead of putting just one pad in, I would actually put both pads in, so I make sure I had a nice solid surface. Because in that dart, you really had to torque those things down. So if you put one in and you start going down and one piston, I actually bent the pads one time. I was like, "Ugh, that's not good." And to actually make a tool for that, I'm actually thinking about getting a tool. A buddy of mine has one. He used to when I used to autocross. He used to race Hondas, and he has a deal. It's like a ratchet deal, like this, and you squeeze it, and it pushes the plunger forward, and the plunger's basically a piece of plate. And every time you ratchet you just ratchet the piston right back in, and all it takes is one hand. Oh yeah. See, on the dart, I did pop the master cylinder on my S10. I popped the master cylinder once and started squeezing the piston back, and I had brake fluid all through the. Never hit the paint, but I had all over the engine. I'm like, because oh, exactly. Yeah. See, I don't have a pressure bleeder, but my next door neighbor has one, and I've used that a couple times. Those things are worth their weight in gold. Absolutely worth their weight in gold. The '93 S10 had a really light braking system on it. I mean, you barely touch the brake, and you're like almost fully locked. I mean, the only reason I used the channel lock on that, and I tried to ease it in with the channel lock because with the master cylinder off, I can almost take my thumbs and just push it in with my thumbs. That's how light the braking system is on those things. Yep. Well, here's the other thing with that S10. Since I used to race it, people used to laugh at me. The S10s are just like most GM vehicles. Uses the old PF47 oil filter. Here's what I found out. Actually, I did know that FLP. I did know that. I've seen a couple videos on that. I actually like that. Looks cool. But getting back to what I was saying about the oil filter is my S10 had the 2.8. It was 93 last year of the first generation S10s. Just like any other GM, most other GM motors that uses the PF47, I found something out. A PF53 has the same diameter and the same threads on it, but it's about that much longer. So you could fit another full half quart of oil in it. Now, the reason I did this was since I was autocrossing it and putting it through high RPM, if something should happen, that little half quart oil is not much, but it's a little bit of an extra reservoir in case something should happen. No, Smith and Wesson, that ain't going to work. What happens with that? I've heard a couple other people talking about that. What happens is when you dump that pull shock in the master cylinder, what it's funny you say that. I've heard people say that before, though. That's messed up. Because when you put that in the master cylinder, what that's going to do is completely degrade your brake fluid. So you're basically fighting yourself at that point. Ah, see, I didn't think about that. Yeah, but I think since the I hate when my phone does that. But since my last live chat, I've actually got a couple acquisitions here. The one I got right here. Nice little stainless steel tea kettle. Walmart, $7. Even got the whistle on it too. Don't know. But I'm looking at that for just a possible base camp situation that I may have coming up this spring. So we'll see. I don't mind. I don't mind a tea every now and again. Yeah, I wanted to get the percolating coffee pot too, which they have there for $15, but they didn't have one, so not not when I was there. So I'm gonna wait till after Christmas on that one. Well, see, sweet tea's good too, but for me, sweet tea's got to be cold. Regular tea's got to be hot. That's the Yankee in me. I don't know. The Armageddon Cafe. Spring meetup. Hmm. Brett may be onto something here. I have to wait till after the first of the year so I can put my vacation time in. Oh, geez. Toe tea. We're having toe tea. I have to think about it because I have to see what's going on this spring for me and see what weeks I can actually get. Like the week that I did the end of summer fallish meet and greet. That week I always get off. That's what I do is the weekend before that is my club's tractor show. So I do the tractor show, take the week off, then I have that weekend. So I could kind of bookend my week off like that. But spring is kind of like I usually take a week in May. I just have to see which week I get, and it all depends on what's going on. Because usually in May, I like to go someplace. Now, even if that's the case, I'll let you guys know where I go because I'm thinking about I want to go back up to Ricketts Glen if I can get a cabin. That might be an issue because Ricketts Glen usually runs about a year ahead. But at that, when I go up in May, usually the prices on cabins are pretty good though. Um, the last time I went there, I stayed there for 3 nights and got the cabin for $177 for all 3 nights. So you can't even get a hotel room for that. And the one that I got could sleep six. And Ricketts Glen's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful area. And the other thing about those cabins is it sleeps six. It's $177 if I just show up, or it's $177 if I fill all the beds. They also have cabins there for 8 people. Hey CG, how you doing, hon? Yeah, if you guys don't know, Country Girl there is the one I gave the knife to fill her gap. She is an absolute sweetheart. So check out her channel sometime. She does some really neat stuff on there. Really awesome lady to talk to. But oh, you're welcome, hon. But the one thing with Ricketts Glen is if you're a waterfaller, you will adore that place. Ricketts Glen in the state park itself has 24 waterfalls, and it's a seven. I think if you do the whole trail, it's like a loop, but it kind of there's a tail that comes off, comes back up, and you go up the other side. Um, I think the trail itself is like 7.1 miles long. But here's the thing you have to keep in mind though, because I actually did it in the last time I was there, I did it in 2 days. I got up there a lot earlier than what I thought I was going to get up there. So what I did is I drove down to the bottom side of the park and did the waterfalls on that tail before I checked into the cabin. The next day, what I did is where my cabin's at. The trail for the waterfalls is literally on the one end of the loop. I walked down the end of the loop, hit the trail, walked to the far end first, worked my way down the mountain until I got to where the trails merge. Then came up the close side of the mountain, so it's easy to get back to the cabin again. But as I said, there's 24 waterfalls in the state park itself. If you go over the other side of the mountain, there's about another 18 over there. Now that Ricketts Glen has a really nice trail that goes around all those waterfalls. If you guys keep talking about steaks, I'm gonna start drooling. Of course, you guys are probably gonna keep talking about steaks as you watch me go. But the ones in Ricketts Glen has a nice trail that goes along them. Hey, Nina. But on the other side of the mountain, all those waterfalls are in a state game lands, and it doesn't really have a trail. And I've been in the woods a time. I will tell you this much about the other side of the mountain. It actually gave me pause. I actually started. I was going to try hitting as many of those waterfalls as I could when I was there. And what ended up happening is I started working my way up the valley and realized that this is a lot bigger than what I thought this was going to be. Because I've dealt with big streams before. I'm no stranger to that, but this is the biggest stream I've ever dealt with, which is um, T T-Bear and Backwoods could fill you in on this. Would be Slippery Rock Creek, which is actually a small river. The creek that I was on up there on the other side of the mountains, on the other side of the mountain from Ricketts Glen, is maybe just a little bit smaller than Slippery Rock, but moves 4 times as fast. It's not like just rapids the whole way down either. It's actually fairly level, except where it goes over the falls. But when it goes over the falls, instead of being like a cascade down to the next one, it's a little narrower, a lot shallower, and the water just moves through there. I'm like walking in 2 inches of water. And it's about knocking me over. I'm like, okay, I'm not used to this. It's just one of those things. Like, especially if I go back down there, I want somebody to go down and watch my back. And that's the only piece of woods that's ever given me any pause like that. And I decided to let discretion be the better part of valor and just get out of there while I could. I wouldn't say get out of there while I could, but just kind of not force the issue. That and gotta watch the undertow in the undertow. Make it poked in the eye. Yeah, which that's another thing. It's supposed to be. I don't know. I have to check the weather, but uh, Sunday I actually would like to get up to McCall's Mills for a little while. Anyway, I have a couple ideas for a series. I have a couple ideas for a series, so I like to get up there so I can get that series. At least get a start on that series anyway. See how that's going to work out. As I said, I'm trying to, as crazy as this may sound, I'm trying to stick with some subjects that I wouldn't really say they're prepper related, but outdoor stuff that I don't see too many people dealing with at all. Now, it's probably a reason why they're not dealing with it. Either it's a little too complicated for them, it may be dry for some people, and maybe I'm a nerd. I'm interested in some of this stuff, like geology. It depends on how you do it, Rescue Boss. I think that could help a lot of people out though. Like what you talking about, like what to expect up to that point? Because I think if a lot of people will know what to expect, or at least have an idea of what to expect, actually backwoods you probably wouldn't. That's one thing. I'm actually thinking about getting out the dowel rods and the paracord and start practice knots again to keep that skill up. And I'm sitting there like, A lot of times, like I'll find like a new knot, and I'll sit there for hours just, oh, look at this. I don't know how many of you folks were in scouts of some sort, like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. It's one of those things that I remember at scout camp. We had the knot cards, but we also had the knot board. You had what the knot looked like underneath up here, and you had to tie it down here. And we had like 30 of them, and we used to time each other doing it so you could do it the quickest. Why not FLP? Oh, that's cool, Chris. Oh, talking about harnesses, this is way off topic, but did you guys just happen to see the video of the guy from Florida hand gliding in Switzerland? I think it's Swiss. I think it's Switzerland or maybe it's Austria. But they went to take off, and the instructor never fastened his harness to the hand glider, so the guy was swinging like a monkey underneath the hand glider for about 2.5 minutes before they landed. He ended up breaking his wrist, but he's hanging up. That was just crazy. Yeah, the Swiss Alps. Yeah, they took off, and the guy's like, "I'm not harnessed in, and we're already 40 feet in the air." Hey, Virginia. Yeah, was that crazy or what? But there's something to be gleaned from that video too. As crazy as this may sound, the only reason that guy's still around is still around and only has a broken wrist is because his survival instincts kicked in. I know it's kind of easy to say when you're 100 feet in the air and you're hanging on for dear life because you don't want to fall, but he did that for almost 3 minutes, fighting G forces, fighting gravity, and fighting a hand glider that's a little bit out of balance at that point. Oh no, don't squash those. Bad things happen. But his adrenaline kicked in, his survival instincts kicked in, and that's why he's still around. Now, see, that's one thing I'm watching you guys talk. That's one thing I've never done. I've never repelled. Was going to do that like 2 or 3 times in Scouts, and every time we went to do it, it was raining in the rock face. They didn't want us going up and down the rock face because it got real slippery in the rain. So it's like, no, we ain't doing it today. I'm like, damn. Now here's a question for you guys, just around my area here. Now, some of you see Moraine State Park, but how would you guys like to have little tours of some of the parks around here? Yeah, because I have some ideas on those too, and what you can possibly get from it, just some things to see, some different processes. Oh, I think it's interesting anyway. Because right now, the way things are looking, I'm probably only going to be able to do videos on the weekends anyway. Thank you, Rescue Boss. Yeah, because the one thing with me right now is they kind of slap. They're It's kind of like silly season with the routes because we have 2 people on vacation again, 2 people hurt again, and we also had another person quit. So we're down to the point that our supervisors are actually running routes right now because we don't have enough people to go around. So, and what the supervisors are doing, since they can only be out so long, they're taking the shorter routes. Mine happened to be one of them, my original route. So they put me on a route that goes out to Johnstown every day. Let me tell you something. Driving 422 in the rain at 5:30 in the morning in the dark is no fun. 422 in and of itself, it's not any fun. That road sucks. It's just, I'm just put blunt. That road sucks. I'm about ready to ask him for that myself. I'm like, you either give me $100 not $100 an hour, or let me get my unemployment. I'm leaving and go find another job here. Let's see. Yeah, I got some historical sites in mind, and I got some geological places in mind. Um, in fact, I ran across a pamphlet that that it's called the Trail of Geology, and it covers McConnell's Mills and Moraine State Park. And the reason it covers them both is because the processes that made the one also created the other one at the same time, so they're kind of linked together. And basically, the same ranger office operates both of them. But I was gonna see how I can dice that up and see how that works because the geology of both of those places actually dates back about 200 million years, up through 22 to 23,000 years ago. That whole process in there. Hmm. How much of a cliff face are you going to need for that backwoods? Oh, 3D. I'm thinking about state parks, some of the county parks we have around here. No, I don't, Rescue Boss. I have no clue. It just sounds interesting. But I was going to state parks, county parks. Um, Actually, I maybe. Well, the only reason I was asking is real close to where we did the meetup at. There is about a 20-foot stone face on just on the other side of that point there. What we were on, where the shelter was, that's on top of the wall of a strip mine. If you go down to that point and you look, you got the lake on your right. If you look to your left, that on that point, you keep on working your way up, you'll see like a 20, 30-foot cliff right in there. And there should be a couple places that is, it should be open enough to repel at. If not, if not, I'll see what I can find behind the house. Or we can go over to McCall's Mills. McCall's Mills has a nice climbing area over there that you could do. Oh heck, they got like about a 70-foot cliff wall there. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with heights, but they don't usually scare me. Usually, it's that it's that falling. The Well, of course, what they say it's not the fall that kills you; it's that sudden stop at the bottom that does. Well, see, that sounds like fun. But a couple of state parks. I was going to do Moraine, McCall's Mills, Raccoon, and there's one just below Raccoon. That one, I may actually do that on Sunday instead. I may go down and talk to Raccoon because I need to get some of that stuff in order. There's a state park just across the southern Beaver County line that's called Hillman State Park. But if you look on the Pennsylvania map, it says undeveloped. So I want to see what the deal is with that one. Now, rock climbing, I have done climbing before. So then I got yelled at because I didn't use a rope. Oops. Yeah, I think Backwoods may be familiar with this place. Is I went over at McCall's Mills. They have a rock climbing area. Well, at the one parking lot, you can actually walk right into the bottom of it from the top. There's like you could go down between the rocks and go the whole way down to the bottom of it and set up your stuff. Then you start climbing up. Well, I'm down there. I'm like, what's up here? So I climb up there and shimmy over, go over to the next rock, climb down that rock, go over, climb back up this one over here, and did that about 2 or 3 times. I look over, the ranger's looking at me. I'm like, "How you doing?" She goes, we kind of require you do that with a rope, right?" Like, sorry, my bad. Yeah, but there are a couple other places around here too. There's a couple natural areas around here that not too many people go to. Uh, there's a lot of there's one game lands that there's all kinds of neat stuff in there. Like I don't know how do you folks like um foundations, like old building foundations. It's like you find them out in the middle of the woods. Me, I love that stuff because I was it always gets to mind thinking, what was there? Now some foundations will it's a telltale. You can look at the foundation and know exactly what it is. Some other foundations, yeah, not so much. It's just a foundation. Was this a house? Was it a chicken coop? Was it an outhouse? But there's a couple places along the north. Well, there's one foundation along the North Country Trail everybody calls the graveyard. It's not a graveyard. There's no barn foundation. Now, if you actually look at it, you don't actually see where the walls were. But how I know it's a barn foundation is what everybody thinks is gravestones with no writing. They're not gravestones. They're what they call pier stones. That's the stone that they would put down while they're building the barn, and they put the pier down. They would put support in there, make sure those all the supports, the top supports are the same level, and then they would start building the frame off of that. But the reason they put that pier down so that wood is not sitting directly on the ground. It's sitting on top of that rock so they can keep all that moisture away from it. Yeah, but there's a lot of interesting stuff out there. You just have to know where to look for it. Oh, I can imagine, Brett. Never done repelling, seen repelling. I can imagine. And talking about repelling, my buddy used to live in this kind of a ritzy condominium deal called the Muse. You know, like a bunch, like about there's like one big house, but it's like divided up in five sections, and the family lives in each section. We used to go to the upper balcony. This is a pretty ritzy place. He used to go to the upper balcony, set up his repelling gear, and repel out the upper balcony down to the patio down below. Oh my god! I never did that, but I don't know. I know the homeowners association. I'll find him. I don't know how many times they used to find him for that. They used to try to find me for driving my car in there too and parking in the guest parking spot, and they're just like, "You can't drive something that old in here." I'm like, really? Hmm. Well, that sounds interesting too. But I don't think anybody here can get their hands on a Black Hawk. No, that's one thing though. I'll try rappelling because I'm tethered to something. I have a couple friends around here still trying to get me to go skydiving. I'm like, that's a whole lot of nope. Nope, 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 nope. Which around here we used to have a exactly mouse toes. We used to have a skydiving out here called Beaver County Skydivers. And you know the common joke, why would you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Now here's the thing about Beaver County Skydivers. Their airplane was nowhere close to being perfectly good. Nowhere even remote. You're safer jumping out of the damn thing than you were sitting in it. I'm like, no, I'm not even going up in that thing. Screw that. Well, actually, the Beaver County skydiving isn't around anymore. And the reason they're not around is they're nowhere close to perfectly good airplane finally crashed. That kind of put the kibosh on that real quick. Yeah, so oops. How much did you drink, RB? Jeez. Oh man. Oh, Jack was involved. Oh, if Jack's involved, anything's possible. I've only been drunk a couple, two, three times in my life, but one time I was drunk on Jack Daniels, and I woke up the next morning wondering why I had a guitar. When I didn't have a guitar the night before, but I had a guitar when I woke up. I'm like, how the hell did this happen? They're just like, we don't know. We're drunk too. Yeah, but I think I drank about a bottle and a half of Jack Daniels. How I did not get alcohol poisoning, I still do not know. Maybe it's because I stuck with one thing all night instead of mixing drinks all night like everybody else did. But yeah, I woke up like when I passed out. I could not tell you what my name was. No, we were smart because before we started drinking, I took everybody's keys. Oh, probably it didn't, but what's new there? Mm. But I took everybody's keys, and I have a lockbox. I have an antique lockbox. Everybody's keys went in the lockbox, locked them up. I'm the only one that had a key on me because when I drink, I don't even want to get anywhere close to a car. Of course, I haven't drank like that in years now. I mean, I could count on one hand this year how many alcoholic beverages I've had. Yeah, see, I limit myself to one bottle of Budweiser, not a 40 either, just a regular bottle of Budweiser. I'm good to go. Even though after one of those drinks was like a couple nights ago, Monday night to be exact. I came home from work. I was so frustrated. and we had a couple beers in the fridge. I'm just like, I'm grabbing one. Pop. Ugh. Oh, that's better. Back just cracked. Been fighting with that all day too. Need to go to the chiropractor. But for this Tuesday, I'm actually think I'm probably gonna be working on it over the weekend. I'm going to try to have a topic for Tuesday. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a topic for Tuesday. But instead of doing because what I was doing is I'd come up with a topic on Monday, and I get home on Tuesday with enough time to research it a little bit, do some notes, knowing know what's going on with it. They have a talk, but the last couple of Tuesdays it just wasn't happening. I wasn't getting home till like maybe a half hour before my live stream. So yeah, the chiropractor. I have a good one now. I have a really good one. I mean, what this guy here, my migraine started coming back, and that's why I started going to him. And I think within 2 visits, they dropped again by like 97%. Oh, that's never fun. But we're reaching the top. We're reaching the top of the hour here, so we'll go through everything here. Um, is FLP still in here, or did he take off for tonight? Because I think if he left, I might miss that. Yeah, he bounced. Yeah, he left. I just checked. Well, what participant list I have here, so I think he left for tonight. He may have left for tonight. But do you guys know if you're having a chat on Sunday? But I'll say this: so keep your eyes open because there may be a Prepper X chat on Sunday. He's been trying to work that in. He's been talking about it anyway. But okay, just something to keep your eyes open. So if things start going a little sideways, keep your eyes open because FLP may have a chat there. But Monday night on the Prepper X channel, you got Backwoods Law at 8 o'clock, and probably have Timo again. If I get home soon enough, I'll let you know. I may jump in on that one too. I just don't know exactly when I'm going to be getting home. So plan, but don't plan on me. Let's put it that way. Tuesday night is me here at 8 o'clock. Then Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Central Louisiana time or 8 o'clock Eastern, is going to be Nina's chat in Southern Ark Homestead on her channel. Then at 9:30 Eastern or 8:30 Central Louisiana time is going to be the Honey Badgers and the Honey Badgers rule. Then after the Honey Badgers, Thursday night. Do you know who I picked this up off of, Mouse? Not Nina. Spicy. Spicy does this all the time. But Thursday at right now it's going to, I do believe it's 7 o'clock Central Louisiana time, 8 o'clock Eastern is Spicy's chat on Backwoods Raised. Love you too, T-Bear. And Friday night, as you guys know, 8 o'clock is a Prepper X panel chat, then I do the after show. But hey, I thank you all for coming. I love you all, and I hope you all have a good night.